What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to go over the trades that we took today inside the Discord, as well as the game plan going into tomorrow. So today, when it came to SPY, there really was not much going on. I took one entry on starter size, and I ended up getting stopped for probably like 10 points. And we'll go over what happened, but this is how we opened. Every video, we show you guys how we open on the 30-minute. This chart pretty much tells us the trend in the market and where we're going to go. So yesterday at the close, we ended up losing this 50, which is major support on the call side, and we were never able to cross back up, and we really never made a big move down. So it was kind of a weird, choppy day. We just kept going back and forth between the SMAs on the 0DT chart. We would go up to the 50 SMA on the 0DT chart on the calls, come back down on the puts, come back up to the calls, kind of just kept flip-flopping, and there wasn't any clear direction, wasn't any clear read. So we took one entry, and that was that. But yeah, I mean, this chart finally is starting to cross negative. This 50, like I said yesterday, was still sloped up, and it still is today. We need this pretty much to curl down for us to be completely neutral, but same thing as going into today. It's gonna be the same for tomorrow. We're just gonna be treating the market as neutral. We're gonna take a call cross or a put cross. Most likely, I'd rather take a put cross, since this chart maybe will cross negative tomorrow. And if you look on the higher time frames here on the 1 hour, maybe we get this chart to cross negative and we see it move lower. That'd be pretty nice. And then you can see here we end up rejecting the 2 hour 50, which I really wasn't concerned about this, even though it did reject. I wasn't concerned about it if we did get a trade opportunity, just because if we did get that call cross, that would have ended up flipping us back bullish here on the 30-minute, and that would have sent us higher and most likely breaking that 2 hour 50. So that wasn't really something I was paying attention to today. But yeah, this is what happened today. So if we go on the 0DT charts, this is where we get our entries on SPY and Q. Whatever you trade, doesn't matter. You could trade options off of these crosses, you could trade futures off these crosses, it doesn't matter. So on the call side here, you can see right off of open, we ended up, where were we opening up at? 9:30. Let's see. We end up opening right down in here. We pumped right up into the 50 SMA, and we need a cross to happen to go long on the call side, which didn't end up happening up in here. We hit the 50, broke above it, couldn't cross, broke above the 50, couldn't cross, ended up rejecting, and then we ended up getting this dump off of the SMA, since we couldn't cross, and come back down to the 50. It was just a bunch of whiplash, and I actually did try an entry right up in here. I know we didn't even cross right here, but at the time of this candle right here at 11 o'clock, it looked like we were gonna get the cross. The 50 was curling, and then once this candle opened right here, the next candle, the 50 actually ended up pointing right down. So that's where I ended up getting out and cutting my starter position on longs. So that was where I ended up taking the entry. I wish I had this screenshot in real time, because it did look pretty good. It looked like it was setting up, and then as soon as the next candle opened at 11:05, 50 ended up turning down, and that's where I got out for a small loss. So that's the only thing I ended up taking today. And if we just flip to the put side, I mean, nothing going on the put side either. If we look here on the puts, just a bunch of pump and dump. I mean, yes, it looked like we ended up getting this cross, but 50 was down and price was below the 50 when the SMAs crossed. So it was a very weird cross that happened right there. I think I do have the screenshot of that. I'm pretty sure someone sent it in the Discord, but yeah, there just wasn't anything going on. This negative cross right here, not something I'm taking, especially with how SPY's been moving today, or SPY was moving today. I was just looking for a cross. Just if we got a cross, I was going to take it. And when we're really choppy like this, I don't really like touching the negative crosses that much. So yeah, then we end up getting this little cross here at what time? 1:35. I mean, it was just very, very choppy. I mean, this 50 looked like it was sloped down this entire time. So it doesn't really look like there was an entry. Maybe it flattened out a little bit there, but at this point, I mean, with how we've been moving, there's just nothing to stick around for SPY. It's not a day you want to be trading these crosses, and these are the days that are hard that you just got to sit out. I mean, if you could survive these little, choppy days we get here and there, even the choppy weeks, sometimes we get a week or two span, maybe even 3 weeks of, just price action just doesn't want to move too much in, given it's December, Q4. I mean, it's not really too surprising. I'd definitely say the last week maybe of the month is when I'd expect it to be choppy. But yeah, nothing really going on when it came to SPY today, but we caught some really good trades when it came to individual tickers. So I told you guys yesterday, AMD was one that I was in, and just to start this off, something I liked here on the 4 hour time frame on the put side was this chart right here. This chart was crossing negative. It didn't even cross negative yet, which is crazy, but it will probably tomorrow. I'm already out of this though, but yeah, this 4 hour chart was starting to cross negative, and then if we pair that up with the call side here, cross on the 30-minute. I end up holding this from Friday. So on Friday, we end up grabbing this somewhere right to this left side of the chart. As long as this 50 held, I was holding this. And we had a very choppy day yesterday. And you can see what happened. We held the 50 the entire way. That tells me to hold the trade. Right off of open, you get a massive rip here, all the way up to 880 on these contracts. I was up, I think, like 85% on these. That's where I ended up taking majority off at. And then on this pullback here, I ended up getting stopped out at break even. So, yeah, it seems stupid to kind of hold a trade to break even, but again, it was just small runners I had left. And then if we just look on the higher time frames, I mean, we started to break above that 1 hour 50 and starting to cross. And then if we look at the 2 hour, the next line of resistance is all the way up here at 1364. So that's why I wanted to have some runners still going in case we end up ripping up to that next resistance level, which we didn't, but that's why I ended up holding. There was no reason based on the chart for me to hold or not hold to get out. So yeah, AMD, really good setup. When you get these 30-minute charts in line with like a higher time frame, like on the put side, that's really good setup. AMD puts were crossing negative on the 4 hour, pair that up with a 30-minute on calls going positive, and we're getting that cross on Friday. Really good setup, and we got a solid move out of it. And another one we caught was Apple. Really good setup over here. This was as A+ setup as it gets. I always say this, but when every single time frame is crossing at once, this is where the big moves happen. And I got a pretty late entry on this, just because of the only reason I entered this was because the 4 hour. I mean, the 4 hour chart looks so good, but we ended up getting this cross here yesterday, and it was just pretty much straight vertical since we got the cross yesterday. So if you entered this when we initially got the cross, you probably got in around like 330 to like 370, probably somewhere up in here is when we got the cross. It looks like it crossed all the way back in here, but by the time estimates catch up with the price, it's probably right around this 340 to 370 mark. So yeah, these got a massive move. I mean, these went over 100%. I ended up grabbing the, I think, 285s is what I had. Those went, I think, like 95% is where I ended up trimming majority at. And I still have some runners going into tomorrow because if you look at this 4 hour chart, this is why I like the setup so much. We have this 4 hour chart crossing here. So when I entered this, we were on that previous candle here. This first initial big one right here. And I entered this. Let's see. I'm gonna drag over the screenshot that I have when I ended up entering this and why I liked it. So I pretty much sent every single time frame. I'm pretty sure in the Discord, yeah. So this is where I entered it. Let me get this screenshot. Let's see here. This is just such a good setup. These are the A++ setup. So here's the 30-minute. This is where we ended up entering. I didn't grab these ones. I grabbed the, I think, 285s, but this chart tells me what we're looking like. So it doesn't matter which one I actually buy. It's the one that you're watching is what's important. And these aren't just random contracts. If you guys are new, we base these strike prices off of where SPY opens on Monday, and then we do some rounding and we do some addition from that round. I mean, I'm not going to go into detail on it right now, but I have a video that covers everything. But yeah, that's what the 30-minute looked like. This is the 1 hour chart. 1 hour's crossing. 2 hour chart crossed, and then we had the 4 hour chart just beginning to cross. So since this chart was just starting to cross here, that told me that this is most likely going to end up keep going, because we got the 30-minute chart cross, we got the 1 hour cross, we got the 2 hour just crossing with the 50 just turning up, and now we have the 4 hour chart just crossing. So that pretty much tells me, even though Apple's been on a nice run the last like couple hours, this is most likely going to continue to go because of all these time frames crossing, and especially the 4 hour chart. 4 hour chart is the major time frame when it comes to these crosses, and like I said, A+ setup is when every single one of these is crossing pretty much at the same time. Obviously, it won't all happen simultaneously, but it'll kind of look like this where, okay, 1 hour chart already got some movement. Okay, that pushes us to cross on the 2 hour chart. Okay, and then that pushes us to cross on the 4 hour chart. You just have to make sure, like with Apple here, that 4 hour 50 was sloped up quite a bit. So, you know, since it's not turned down, I wouldn't really expect a rejection off of that 4 hour 50. So, you know, if you end up taking this, obviously it's a good idea to take some trims. Maybe once that 4 hour breaks and starts to, you know, get above higher, you add that back. But given the 4 hour 50 is sloped up and not sloped down aggressively, that tells me we're most likely, you know, this isn't going to see much of a reaction off of it since it's sloped up. So yeah, 4 hour chart cross, and you guys obviously see the move we ended up getting. I still have this going into tomorrow just because it just crossed, so maybe it still has some left in the tank that I'm just gonna hold. If we get break even, we get break even, but I end up trimming majority up around like 95%. So really good move on Apple. That's what we did today. Another one that I ended up selling early. I went over this yesterday, but Amazon. I mean, I know Amazon news came out and we got a crazy wick off of it. I told you guys, if you were still in this, you could have just ended up holding this as long as that 50 held. You'd have been on a news candle right here, but you would have been paid if you were in this. I'm not sure what the 5-minute looked like on this. Okay, you could actually been able to like sell on that candle right here. It wasn't just a crazy wick and came back down, but this candle right here at 11 o'clock ended up ripping like 100%. So yeah, Amazon was really good chart as well. You can see how well respected that 50 SMA is, and yeah, that was a good setup that ended up ripping today, that I ended up cutting a little early. Actually, I didn't cut it early. I just sold it for I think like we trimmed half for like 60% or like 50%, and then I ended up just stopping a little bit in the red after this pullback here. But yeah, that's what we did today. I'm going into tomorrow. Like I said, we are neutral. We're pretty much neutral at this point. I mean, that 50 SMA is starting to turn down. I'm treating it as neutral market. 0DT cross either side on SPY, and I'm probably still going to be scanning for some individual names for some 30-minute crosses or 50 dips or something like that. So yeah, that's all I got. If you guys enjoyed, drop a sub. If you guys want to learn, join Discord down below. It's where I share all the trades and all these charts. But yeah, I'm out. Peace.